and welcome to another session of our Accessibility Level Up series. If you're new to the series, each month we cover a new topic in digital accessibility, from general information, understanding guidelines, how to develop and test, to strategy and content creation. We have something for everyone. And don't worry if you've missed a session either. Each one is recorded and available to watch for free on our YouTube channel. In today's session, we'll explore how accessibility can be a growth strategy, what it takes to move beyond checkboxes to true inclusion, and how AI is opening up new opportunities to reduce cognitive load and personalize experiences. This also kicks off the design segment of our Level Up series, where we'll explore what it really means to build accessible, intuitive digital products from the ground up. I'm thrilled to be joined by Becky Roth, who brings deep experience with our customers and product teams. With that, let's jump in. Hi, Becky. Welcome. I'd like you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role here at Workday.
Hi, Mary. It's so nice to be here. So I'm Becky Roth, and I lead our user experience product marketing team. So my role really sits in between the product teams and our customers to make sure that what they're building is useful for people and employees out in the real world, and also that what our teams are building, people understand so that they can make it really relevant to their employees.
Excellent. So when was the first time that you became aware of the importance of accessible design?
So accessible design's actually been near and dear to my heart way before I ever realized that accessible design or product marketing or any of this was really a thing. So my godmother, who was going to Michigan State in the 80s, happened to lose her eyesight. And so she ended up going through college and graduating with the help of a screen reader and aides who were at university with her. And she ended up getting her corneal transplant. So she's able to see reasonably well today, although still, thanks to the Michigan Eye Bank, has gone through a whole evolution and journey herself. But once I started getting involved in design and building products and realizing that there's actually a lot of thought into what gets built and how that goes to market so that everybody has the equal ability to take advantage of information, find what they need, complete tasks, and function is so incredibly important. It has become a real passion of mine.
So Becky, thinking about accessibility as a driver for better design, for a company to truly embrace accessible design, it must be seen as a growth strategy. What message do you deliver to partners or customers about how our commitment to accessibility also reflects our commitment to quality product viability?
Accessibility is truly a bar for product quality. If a product is accessible, if it's able to be used by your employees and your customers and the people who need to use it, then you know you have a quality product on your hand. And so that goes from everybody from visual impairments and making sure that you've baked everything into your product, from closed captioning if you have videos, to if you're building an AI product, do you have the right voice commands in place? Are you baking in the ability to help people complete the tasks that they need to complete? And so looking at what the quality is, what your actual goals are for your employees and for the end users of that product, and making sure that it meets a bar not just for your average employee, but for all of the employees in your organization. That's the quality bar. Accessibility, compliance used to be the floor. Now it really is, now it's the floor.
So thinking about that shift of mindset from compliance to innovation being the true inclusion, in your opinion, what's the fundamental mind shift that product teams need to take to move themselves beyond compliance towards true inclusion?
Compliance is really just the start of everything. Your product isn't truly meeting your users' needs if you break it down all the way back to what is that ultimate user need if it doesn't work for everybody. So compliance can't just be the heroic of one developer or an accessibility champion that comes in at the end of the product and is solely responsible for it. I mean, that is an incredible place to start. You should absolutely have your accessibility champions, your design champions, your engineering and QA champions, but it really is that end-to-end product life cycle, from understanding What are the basic needs? Where does it fit into design from the start? What's that looking like in Figma? Do the engineers understand the requirements? How is that baked into automation and the testing? And then actually going full cycle with it and making sure that you're talking to people who have the disabilities that you're trying to serve. Because if you don't understand who your employees are, who that end user is, then you can't actually build something that's going to meet their needs and not just check a tick box with compliance, but be building quality products at the end of the day.
So important. So talking about people with disabilities and engaging them, especially including them, could you speak a little bit more about how you bring in people with disabilities into product testing?
Absolutely. So there's really three big ways that we do it. One is through our advisory councils. So we have an advisory council specific for accessibility, also for user experience and all of our other lines of business. And that is a great place for us to be getting feedback directly from our customers about where we could be doing better, what they're seeing in their other software pieces, opportunities, and also just where the market is going. So lots of really interesting insights that come from our advisory councils. They're a huge piece of that. Another thing that we do is we use third-party testing platforms like Fable, where we actually are able to engage large numbers of end users who have these disabilities to go in, use our products, give us feedback on it like we would any other user testing system. And that is absolutely one of the most treasured ways we have of getting that information directly from the end user, because those are the folks that are using it. And so it's only possible to put yourself in somebody's shoes to a certain point, but then you need to be open to getting that feedback and doing something with that feedback when you get it. And the third thing is that we partner with all sorts of organizations. One that I really loved having the opportunity to partner with was ONCE. They're focused on the visually impaired, based out of Spain, and they have 19,000 employees who are all visually impaired that were able to come in and help give us real feedback on how tables appeared in our system. And what was incredible about that is we were able to optimize our application tracking system to help make it better for everyone with visual disabilities. And this is such a precious part about why accessibility matters, because it matters not just for making sure that the table is working better, that the employees of ONCE are able to use it better, but if we are able to help visually impaired people apply for the jobs that they are qualified for better, that not only helps them find incredible jobs out in the workplace, but for all of our customers, at the end of the day, you want the best employees and best applicants that you could possibly find for that job. So by making it more accessible, not only are people able to apply, but our customers are able to get better applicants into the system. And that's what really matters.
So as we're talking about applying, typically in the past, we've done a lot with tables and point and click for people to apply. And so as we're thinking about this new environment that we're in with AI and conversational UIs, how do you think about AI and how it can aid or assist our users that might have accessibility needs?
Yeah, I mean, the opportunity with AI and accessibility is absolutely enormous. And we saw a lot of this start fairly early on, with the early voice to text really starting out as an accessibility pattern that fell into the mainstream. And now you're able to take that even a step further when we're looking at conversational UIs. So here at Workday, we've been doing a lot of work with particularly our acquisition of Sana, understanding how we make all of Workday not only more voice activated, but truly bringing that element of conversation into it. And so when you think about somebody who might not be able to type in a natural form way, if they're able to actually speak into their computer and it has the LLM behind that to recognize the speech pattern, understand the intent, use the context and the data that's living in there to not just point them in the right direction. And it's not always about finding the right menu or getting them to the right spot, but it can start to take actions on somebody's behalf. Suddenly, when you think about how somebody might apply to a job or provide feedback to their team, radically changes. We've been talking a lot about visual impairments and if somebody might not be able to type. But even when I think about neurodiversity in the workplace, it can be absolutely overwhelming to think about the amount of systems that somebody needs to learn, need to operate, different processes, and that can lead to a lot of overwhelm and people becoming paralyzed and not actually focusing on the work that they need to. And so, if we're able to simplify all of that, cut down on
The
the
noise.
self-service tasks, the noise that people need to be able to do with conversational interaction, that's not even a little step forward, but that's a massive leap, and that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
find that really exciting.
Yeah, the opportunity is massive. So as we're intentionally thinking about including accessibility when we focus in on our explorations around new AI, how do we build systems that have trust as part of the process?
Yeah, I don't think it's any different for populations with disabilities versus populations without disabilities. As you have autonomous agents that are starting to take actions on behalf of the user, there's two things that are really key. But especially when we think about populations that have been left out by technology sometimes. The first is going to be transparency. Making sure that it's really easy for people to see why the system is taking the system it does, where it's getting its information done, and doing any type of human in the loop verification, as we would say, to make sure that it agrees with the action that's being taken, especially while that trust is being built and the models are learning. The second piece is control. So users really need to be able to override, confirm, and modify actions. So it's not just about interfaces, it's really about building that trust. And it's not unlike our general overall responsible AI policy. And users are finding that it puts them in a really good place in a spot of control.
So important.
Yeah, absolutely is. I mean, how would you feel if you were working with a system and you felt completely out of control with it? Wouldn't be much fun, and you wouldn't be able to do your job very well. At least I know I wouldn't.
So we've discussed how AI can transform accessibility for individuals and how designing inclusively leads to better products. What's the one thing, if we think about AI, that you're most excited about?
Well, it's hard to put my finger on just one thing, but I think historically throughout my career, people have had to learn systems and learn software. And now we've hit an inflection point where with generative AI, the system adapts to the user, not the other way around. And that's going to be a real game changer for not just accessibility, but for everyone.
Certainly is. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming to talk with us today.
Thank you, Mary. It's been great being here.
As you've heard today, accessibility isn't just about meeting guidelines. It's about designing with real people and diverse lived experiences in mind, and using tools like AI to reduce cognitive load and open up a new way of work. Today's conversation kicks off our accessible design segment of our Level Up series. So if today sparked ideas or questions, be sure to check out the rest of the upcoming sessions where we'll dig even deeper into topics including documenting accessibility requirements in design and on including people with disabilities in user research. This will be followed by a series of sessions on accessibility skills for developers, a series of sessions on testing for accessibility and mobile accessibility. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at our next session.